here's to the grind. We'll tear it down. There's nothing that can never take down the crowd. And we will pop them down and make drum sound. There's something inside we're best for sneaking around. Now watch the ice tear. We fight to the death. Yeah, we fight to the death. We fight to the death. We fight to the death. In the dark, creatures crawl into the underworld. Afterlife, an abyss protects you. In the light, goddess of the sun brings you life. A deity, best it is her name. Come learn the ways of man. Become one with the sand. The fate is in your hands. It's time to fight. You will rise, not fall. Never lose hope on the ground. We are one for all. The truth will always conquer. Capture the art, chasing your mark. Get like mystical formation. Tear down the walls, beat on the drums. Let us claim this is war. In the dark, a river flows. The Nile is so exposed. A morning star is seen in our side. In the light, find your desert altar and your shrine. Look for peace, defeat the enemy. Run to the obelisk, defend this legacy. Fly to your destiny. It's time to fight. You will rise, not fall. Never lose hope on the ground. We are one for all. The truth will always conquer. Capture the art, chasing the mark. Get like mystical formation.
Hello, governors. Welcome to Osiris League Season 10 Quarterfinals. I'm your host, Plata Gaming Caster and content creator for Rise of Kingdoms. And today, casting alongside me, we have Mr. BK himself, Brian Koo. How's it going, man?
Plato, great to be here. Quarterfinals of the Osiris League, and we got a great match on our hands. Looking forward to casting with you, brother.
Yes, sir. We are in the Osiris League knockout stages, meaning that every game from here on until the finals is a win or go home scenario for all of the teams vying for the championship. Today, we are casting from the realm of Horus. 16 OT from Kingdom 1316 versus TCG9 from Kingdom 2359.
Yes.
So it is 16 OT is the first seed coming out from Group A, winning their round of 16 matchup against Rose in dominant fashion. Their opponent, TCG9, is the first seed from Group F, which also won the round of 16 matchup with little resistance from their opponents as well. Both teams are looking to continue their dominant Osiris League runs to the semifinals, but only one can prevail. Who will it be, 16 OT or TCG9? Brian Koo, what are your thoughts on this crazy matchup?
Plato, I mean, we got a couple heavy hitters here for sure. 2359, they are, at this point, really regarded as one of the strongest kingdoms in the game. Truly one of the strongest kingdoms. They have just under 5 trillion kill points in their kingdom. And, you know, they finished in the top 16 of Osiris League last season. But they have added so much talent, Plato, that I think this is a very different team. We should not be thinking of these guys as a, you know, top 16 type team. We have to think of these guys as a real juggernaut. But they are up against 16OT, which finished in the top 4 of the Osiris League last season. And they are a heavily Chinese kingdom who, at this point, they have really brought in, I think, most of the very strong accounts and very strong players, Chinese players who play on the international server. And you and I earlier, we were looking at these teams and noting how many ex-1960 players were on both of these teams. The big names like Seawill and TC, who were leaders for 1960 and ARC, they are over on 16OT. But then we looked at TCG9 and we were like, oh my gosh, they've got El Haytham, they've got Makote, they have, DeAce, they have so many X960s that, I think that's one of the storylines, Plato, really, is that your old kingdom, even though they have disbanded, their shadow still casts a big shade over the Osiris League.
Yeah, the legacy of 1960 in full effect right now. 16OT, as you said, they have been really good in Osiris League. There's one alliance. I don't even think they're a full alliance at this point, but they've just been, min-maxing their KVKs, min-maxing in Osiris League, just trying to win by any means possible. TCG9 or 2359, this kingdom, they're seen as one of the most powerful right now. They're trying to prove themselves in KVK with their current configuration, with their new additions. But on top of that, to be one of those top kingdoms, to be seen as one of the best kingdoms in the game, not only do you have to perform in KVK, but Osiris League matters as well. And that is what is on the line today. I mean, it'll be really interesting to see, these two powerhouses, these two Goliaths, clash today. Do you expect to see anything out of the ordinary from these two teams?
That's a really interesting question. The thing that I always said about 1960 is that I felt they were a conventional Ark of Osiris team. They played defense on the sides, and then they won the middle. And I did cast 16OT earlier on in the season, and I got those 1960 vibes, man. I really did. I got the play defense, win the mid, and then nowadays also win those Altars of Anubis. They are like, I don't know, I guess you could say they're snipers. They're just like snipers who always hit. They win their KVKs, and yeah, I don't think we're going to see anything crazy from 16OT. The question is, does TCG9, as strong as they are, feel like they have to do something unconventional and risky to beat 16OT today? I think that's the question mark. We're going to have to see.
As we get into the game here, two minutes until the fight starts. We have in the top left corner 16OT starting to teleport in. In the bottom right corner, we have TCG9 with just a couple players, just 4 players right now. I guess trying to make sure that they get their teleports completely correct. But yeah,
hopefully so.
Hopefully
they're
so.
Taking their time.
Oh my goodness. If I mean, hello? Is there any reason why they take this long for teleports, Brian?
I mean, they might have just been waiting for that 5th teleport guy. They might have had this very strict order.
Yep.
And they really were just waiting for that one person to port in. I mean, in a way, I think it shows like some pretty good discipline, because they're probably on 2 separate voice chats, and yet somehow both voice chats waited for number 5 to take their spot. And TCG's coming in now, although they still got a ways to go.
Maybe they are a fellow West Coast North Americaner. Fell asleep while teleporting. As it is 6 a.m. in the morning right now in the West Coast. But yeah, it's really interesting, this new Ark of Osiris this season with the additions of the Altar of Anubis. The match that we casted, that was a point of emphasis between the two teams. And then I believe the match that you casted with Chisco, there wasn't actually too many altar fights at all.
No, one team in that match, they just decided to kind of give up the altars. I don't think we're going to see that today, Plato. I think that was a mistake to do. And one thing, let's start tracking this, Plato, because I was thinking about this. we always talk about account strength for the mid, but where does account strength really play out is those alters, those 5-on-5, 10v10 fights. But we'll track that. Here goes the gates. The gates opening up on this big match today.
The gates have dropped. Let's see the initial rallies coming out. You see the initial marches. The double C's sprinting with the T1s. We have the initial obelisk rallies. 3 coming from, there you go, 4 coming from 16OT, 4 coming from TCG9. So just standard play here. Initial sentry placement from 16OT right at the gate of TCG9. It'll be really interesting to see these initial sentry placements because they kind of can dictate and can prelude to the plans of the team putting down those sentries, Brian.
They can. And what teams have been doing now recently, the modern high-end strategy for the sentry placements is you don't place all 3 at the start. We see both teams have only placed 1 sentry to get like an initial read of what's happening. But basically, I think people are now trying to get a sense of what the enemy team does, and they use that to inform where they're going to place the rest of their sentries. It's an interesting evolution of things. And, you know, at the end of the day, with the sentry that the red team has placed, they are going to get some good info about where the enemy is rolling out. They're going to see, you know, how many are going inside lane, how many are going outside lane. But I think pretty quickly here we are going to have to see some more sentries because these teams right now, they are very blind. We as viewers can see much more of what's happening than the teams can. And if there's any trickery afoot, we'll know about it way before these teams do.
Yeah, one thing that we haven't seen in the cast that we've done is an obelisk home run. We saw, you know, a couple marches swarming, a couple T1s just checking if there's anything in there, but nothing too elaborate. I don't know if we'll see that within these 2 teams because the thing about those home run plays, if you swing and miss, you're going to be in the back foot for the rest of the game. These 2 teams so far looking pretty standard. I'm assuming there's going to be this this new meta of balling up in the middle of the 2 lanes and kind of reading and reacting to what your opponents do. As we're going to see first contact with those cavalry marches. And yeah, nothing too much. We're waiting for things to develop. We're waiting for the murder ball to collide here. And you see, there's just sentries all over the place for TCG9. They want a full info as to what's going on, Brian.
Yeah, and they really are getting some good information here from these red team sentries. Plato, the thing that's unconventional about this match so far that we see is that middle effort by the blue team. Blue is sending about 10, maybe 8 or so marches through the middle here. And TCG, they are sniffing that out. They're sniffing it out with a scout march and with the sentry. And that scout is getting a lot of attention with those other blue marches. That tells me that the blue marches don't have anything like really crazy planned here. It's more of just like a probing effort here by the blue marches that are in the middle. But that's notable. And obviously on the bottom side, we do see, like you said, both teams are just sort of like one ball and they're going to split up later.
Yeah, split up later, or maybe even try to challenge the murder ball of their opponent, see where they're gonna go, read and react on this side. Bottom side though, looks like everyone's gonna go towards his desert altar. Usually the altars are the point of contention due to the fact that they give a ton of points. First occupation points being 750, and then continuous occupation 150 points per minute, which is absolutely huge compared to the Shrine of Life, which gives 80 points per minute, pretty much half of the points that the altars give. And that is why there's going to be heavy interactions between the 2 teams. And it does look like they did split up. So there is going to be 2 different murder balls on this bottom side. On the top side, it looks like it's going to be very similar. So just making sure that they have the exact right amount of marches. And I think that's the interesting part about these murder balls, is that it's a balancing act between the 2 teams. You want to make sure that you send just enough marches that you could defend your desert altar, but also attack your opponent's sky altar.
Yeah, pretty sophisticated opening movement by both teams. I'm definitely impressed with what I'm seeing from TCG9 so far in terms of them being up to the level of 16OT. And now we start to look at the account strength, Plato. Now we start to evaluate the account strength of these two teams. And if anything, I do think that it's probably going to be TCG9 with those Makote accounts, those El Haitham accounts that might have slightly stronger punching power here. And that's manifesting a bit here at this Desert Altar. We have to say, nice opening for TCG9. They are at least, I mean, they've grabbed the building. They've got the BQ in there. And they're very competitive here, Plato, in the early going. No doubt about it.
Yeah, they're able to snipe the first tap in the building, which is really, really interesting. Because usually, you know, you get that garrison in if you're the defender, but look, they're garrisoning this BQ like it's an actual garrison here. And to be honest, they do have quite a couple marches. They might have to force 16OT to respond with a rally to recapture their structure here without even having a proper garrison.
Yeah, this is a really good building for TCG9 to take and disrupt, because this is the type of building that you really can mess with the mid approach of the blue team. We've got 6.5 minutes before this first arc. TCG9, they have this building. They've probably got some decent troops in it. And so 16OT, they're going to have to spend some effort to get back their own building before this first mid. Whereas for the red team, TCG9, we see they're chilling. I mean, on a own building perspective, they are chilling. They have all their own buildings, and they're just on their way to locking those things in. So nice start for TCG9 here. Spicy.
I think the MVP of that play was the player that was able to snipe the first tap of the building, able to get that BQ in before 16OT was able to get their garrison in. And once that happens, and you also have open field prowess, it's going to be pretty tough to re-swarm down that structure, especially if you didn't have the marches. And since TCG9 were super dominant in that initial murder ball, they're able to just threaten this first capture. There's 1 minute left though. The rally is in. It is going to be an archer rally going into an Achilles garrison. They still don't have a proper garrison for this structure.
Oh, they switch it. They're about to switch it. You know, spoiler alert. They're about to switch this thing. Yeah, you know what? It was Gariko JP who got his BQ in, and TCG9 actually put 6 fillers in earlier on as they were like getting swarmed initially. So they did a good job of filling up this building. As much as these are open field juggernauts on this team, those open field juggernauts did throw in on this building. And you can see they had this thing pretty full, Plato. At the end of the day, they had this building pretty full. Now, there's a huge blue effort to take back this structure.
There you go.
And I'm going to imagine they do. They pop the Attila and they get the building back. But a truly disruptive play from TCG9 to open this matchup, getting that BQ into the garrison and then filling it up full.
Yeah, they threatened the first occupation points, the 750 points. That would have been taken away from 16OT, given to TCG9, which would have been a really, really big 1.5k point delta. But luckily for 16OT, they were able to respond 30 seconds, 20 seconds left before that structure fully flipped, and they're able to save their first occupation. Although their continuous occupation will be stunted for about 3 minutes, 4 minutes. So that's going to be, you know, minus a solid 600 points, perhaps. 150 times 4, 600. So it's going to be a little bit of a win for TCG9, at least for the pressure battle here. And then if you look at the rest of the structure, Sky Altar will be captured here from 16OT, so they're able to get the first occupation there. First occupation, looks like the Desert Altar did flip once towards 16OT, but it's only delayed by about a minute over there. And then the last structure to get those first occupation points will be 16OT, Brian.
Yep. And AAJ in the chat asking, was that Attila David or Attila Achilles? It was an Attila David. A Canada brought his Attila David and was the garrison of that Desert Altar. So he literally brought the Attila David out at the beginning of the match, hoping that what would happen is exactly what played out. They take the building, they put that garrison in. So big time play there from A Canada, who is the skill caster, it looks like, for TCG9. So leading from the front there with the early Attila David Garrison, really strong play.
And to go back to your point, it's not only account strength, but it's also account discipline. Being able to fill up that structure as soon as that BQ was in there is absolutely huge. You know, sometimes you see this in KVK. Players might just want to fight open field. They might just want to, but no, this is an objective-based game. They're able to, you know, make some magic happen. They're trying to attack the Desert Altar yet again, but it does look like 16OT will be ready to respond, swarming down that rally, and the Desert Altar will be secured by 16OT. And the TCG9 marches are going to be sad facing. There's 2 minutes left until Arc spawns though, Brian. What do you think of the timing between these two teams?
So I think it's all in the details, Plato. You know, all those marches that just attacked that Desert Altar, if they have teleported, then that's pretty good for red. Like Sora and Multiverse, I'm looking at them now, they did teleport. So like at least 2 of the players who just threw a bunch of marches at that Desert Altar, they're sad facing right now, and they can get to mid probably just in time. Whereas like you have a bunch of half health blue marches that aren't going to do a ton mid. Now, all that being said, both teams are gathering mid early. Desert Storm already popping off for 16OT, and let's one other thing, Plato. Both teams are using stocking up in this match. TCG9 had not used stocking up before this, but they are using stocking up today. So we're going to see a lot of skills getting used, and that early Desert Storm, that's telling me that 16OT is going to probably use Desert Storm now, and then they're going to probably return some gatherers, so they use more than 10 points for this first mid of the match. They're taking it that seriously that they cast the early Desert Storm, so they can probably use like a ton of points mid.
Yeah, it's really interesting because both teams kind of still have marches lingering out on the altar side. You could see that the Sky Altar of 16OT, the home Sky Altar, was actually captured by TCG9. So as long as the status quo continues, TCG9 will continue to, start developing leads slowly but surely, especially if that Sky Altar starts generating points for their side of the map here. Arc is about to spawn, and now they are going to start this murder ball fight, an absolutely huge murder ball fight. The Arc has spawned. Who will get first tap? It looks like to me 16OT might have. This is going to be
looks like a pretty good pull if this guy can survive. If he can survive, it's going to be a good pull. But did he just? No, he's going. I think he died. I think they killed the Arc grabber with 1 second left.
Yeah,
and somebody else grabbed it that we could not see.
They were able to snipe the Arc carrier. Now the Arc is in the middle of this murder ball as well. Absolute mayhem. Sad faces coming out from both sides. But if we look at the dots, oh my goodness, it's still pretty close. But
yeah, it's still pretty close.
Is it TCG9 coming out? I think I might see more blue sad faces than we see red. And they also have the Arc carrier just, peacefully trying to sneak away here. Please do not see me. The Arc has dropped on the top side of the temple, but it does look like TCG9 able to take control of that first mid fight.
Yeah, big win for TCG9. What we saw there at the end of the fight was TCG9 did win the initial fight. A lot of blue marches came in late, Plato. They were there right at the end of that fight. And I thought maybe they could turn the tide, but you can see from the outcome, it was just not enough. There was 8 or so marches that got there late. And that's a big deal. I mean, imagine if those 8 or 10 marches had been there for the initial fight. It could have gone differently. But TCG9 was so crisp in their opening, I think it helped their mid as well. And now they not only hold the Arc, have the points lead, but they can also control the tempo of this match. I think both teams took that Arc somewhat seriously, Plotted, but we have to say neither team actually cast any skills other than Desert Storm. Yeah, they actually did not dump skills there on that first mid.
Yeah, which is really interesting. So it's not a full commit
Yeah.
from either team, which, I mean, at the end of the day, this is definitely going to benefit TCG9, able to take control. And now the altars of Anubis have 2 minutes 30 seconds until they spawn. We're starting to see a bit of a rotation from both teams. In this bottom side, it looks like it's only going to be 16 OT for now. On the top side, though, we see a couple marches creeping into these altars. And Brian, do you think these altars will kind of dictate when and if this arc gets captured early?
Well, I would have to think. Listen, I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to call something, Plato. I think TCG9 is going to win at least one of these altars, and the reason that I say that is because look who they have going to that top side altar, right? And actually, this is the altar that is really not theirs. This is the one they're supposed to steal, but they brought Makote to this altar, right? They brought one of their absolute stone strongest accounts to fight for this altar. And I think this is something we really have to start tracking is like, I think teams really do need to bring their absolute strongest players to this fight, because what is this fight? This is a straight up 5v5 style duel. So you might as well have your absolute best accounts here, your hardest hitters. And I think bringing Makote, and now I'm seeing a couple marches from Canada getting here too. Wabi X Enzo as well. I mean, bro, they got some major fighters trying to win this altar. I mean, like, you see how big of a deal this is when you bring Wabi X Enzo, Makote, and Canada to take this thing.
The bottom side, they actually also brought marches there as well. They rotated over from the Shrine of Life, defending the Shrine of Life, recapturing the Shrine of Life, and then also just rotating up. This is essentially now extended into another objective here. It really stretched out the map, because before these altars, no one was going to be walking up here. It actually looks like 16OT also have a sentry. They committed a sentry towards this topside altar. So there is going to be a heavy commit from both teams here. We saw TCG9 able to take away the arc. Will they be able to take the altar of Anubis as well? That'd be absolutely huge. Brian, for those that don't know, what does the altar give? It gives extra points. It gives, I believe, 2 points for the energy bar, and it also gives. Well,
that's going to be later. On the third one. For this one, it's actually just the points bonus. Like, they're actually bonus, just playing for the 15% bonus on points for 4 minutes. If you get both, you get a 25% bonus. So that's why TCG9 is. Plato, I take a look at the top side. I take a look at the top side monster. It's really kicking off over there. The fight at the top side monster is really kicking off.
And the thing that's interesting is you kind of want to stat face every single opponent march, because the capture, it comes down to last tap, last damage done to the Anubis. So if you somehow have one march, one double C, snipes that last attack, and you're able to steal it, that'd be absolutely detrimental to the team that had and did all of that damage. And you can see the sad faces starting to come out from both teams here.
Really close fight there. I'll keep you guys updated on the bottom altar. At the bottom altar, it's going to be TCG9. TCG9 will get the bottom altar here. It's this top altar that is very competitive, and red team brought their heavy hitters, but blue team, they had that sentry. They saw those heavy hitters there, and they brought extra numbers. They must have brought 25 marches here probably from blue, and they needed every single one of this as the Achilles there trying to kite at the last minute, maybe try to steal the last hit. Very ambitious hero play by Wabi X Enzo, but blue team just doing what they need to do, getting this herald. They're going to get one of the 2 heralds, and it's going to be a 15% points bonus on both teams. 16OT, they needed this, and it's a very good play by them. I really respect the read they made here to over-index on this monster, because they had to do it. Yeah,
it's what you get everything, right? Like, there's no consolation prize for the loser. You have to make sure that if you're committing marches here, that you win the objective, or else it is going to be...
And look at this. Look at the sneaky marches from the bottom of the screen coming at the last minute to try to steal this thing. Makote's back. he's back again.
And I will say the marches from 16OT, they have been like brought pretty low by the Herald of Anubis. It looks like there's going to actually be a call to pull marches from 16OT off of the Herald to make sure that they could, you know, try to disrupt or at least sad face the marches that TCG9 have brought here. So it is going to be a little bit of a wild goose chase coming in from 16OT. They actually brought more marches of their own. I think these are some of the sad face marches from earlier as well. So it's looks like it will go down to 16OT, although there are still a lot of TCG marches around here. This is a very interesting Herald of Anubis exchange fight.
Yeah.
Just seeing like the nuances of this Herald and what it brings. It kind of reminds me of an altar in KVK, right? When you lose an altar in KVK, what marches usually do is they bring a pesky double C, because you have to clear out every single opponent march to make sure that you capture that altar. This is essentially what TCG9 are doing right now to make sure that they have a chance to steal it. There is 25% of the health here, Brian, and now TCG9 are starting to, you know, make their approach into this Herald of Anubis.
Yeah, you know, but you know, the thing is, Plato, when I think about double C's disrupting altars, I think about like slightly smaller kingdoms than this. I don't think in the Gold Imperium level you necessarily have all that many double C's that are surviving long enough to really disrupt an altar. You can say I'm wrong on that. But like in this case, we're seeing like Makote with the double C out here. We're seeing, you know, the biggest whales in the game kiting each other. Like rather than just going straight in on the enemy, they're kiting each other. They're trying to outmaneuver. I mean, this Herald is still at 16%. And TCG9 is still harassing it. I think at this point, the TCG9 just realizes they are getting value for the marches that are here, because they're forcing Blue to bring so many marches to deal with them. I will say, however, that, you know, Blue is doing well on the sides. As all this is happening at the monster, Blue has flipped a couple of buildings. One got flipped back, but at the bottom side, they do have a desert altar that's about to lock in. It's about to lock in here on the bottom side for 16OT. So, you know, they did lose that first mid fight, didn't have the best opening, but in this very hectic second phase of this war, 16OT asserting itself and playing the side game very well, while also eventually, I think, securing their own Herald of Anubis.
Yeah, it looks like they're able to get that Herald at the end of the day, which is absolutely huge. And yeah, both teams, by the way, in that craziness, use no mark. So both teams have no mark. But that is actually going to be in 16OT's favor, at least for now, as they have the Desert Altar starting to generate points. The Sky Altar, though, has been traded in response by TCG9, making sure that they don't have that 3 altar advantage. And TCG9, they still also have the point lead. They have they have the point lead right now. They're at it's actually pretty close right now. The points per minute, 812 points per minute to 594. So it's not the craziest point per minute, but it's coming down to a 100-point game here, Brian.
Yes, and TCG9, they are holding the arc right now. And Plato, you know what, we know already now that they're actually not going to return the arc to get that points boost, because on the left side of the screen, everybody, you can see the countdowns for not only the arc, but you can see the countdowns for the 2 altars of Anubis. And that altar on the bottom side that TCG9 captured, it's already been 4.5 minutes since that was captured. So therefore their bonus has worn off, and they've chosen to just hold the arc anyway, rather than get the 15% points boost, which, I mean, that's it's about 500 points. I think it's about 500 points, maybe 450 that they would get for that. So not a big deal, but interesting, Plato, that they're deciding to hold this arc and, you know, just see what's next in this, what's honestly been an amazing match so far.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting because there's been this inbuilt timer from these top teams, right? There's just like, at this time, we're going to do this, this, and this. It's come down to a science when it comes down to the timings of Ark of Osiris. And even though you could break the timing and say, okay, like, we're going to get these extra points if we capture this earlier, perhaps just sticking to the status quo, sticking to what you know is the strategy for a lot of these teams. We've seen that, I believe, with alt, right?
Well,
we saw that with alt.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say.
You casted, and then in this match as well, deciding to not capture it early and foregoing those early points for just stabilizing the map and making sure everyone is on the right page and the same page that they've been practicing.
Yeah, what I'm seeing here is that, we expected 16OT to be a very conventional team, play defense, win monsters, win mid. But the account strength and honestly just the crisp teamwork of TCG9 has disrupted 16OT enough that they just can't play that conventional game, right? Like they're losing on points given that the Ark is being held. And they're losing some of their structures. Like that Sky Altar on the bottom side has been flipped. It's still being held by TCG9. And back in the day, 1960, this Sky Altar was their wheelhouse. I forget the name of the player, but they had I think his name was Mr. something, who would be on this building, and he just never lost it. He never lost this building. So, yeah, 16OT, I don't know how often they've been in this position where like they are on the back foot a little bit here. And if you're TCG9, you just keep leaning on these guys. Just keep leaning on them. Giovanni, he's in first, and he's in this outside lane, right? He's one of the guys in this lane, and they're just winning. Like, they're just winning this lane. He's actually got an Ethelfled out here, interestingly enough. I'm looking at Giovanni's Ethelfled out here. So he's working a lot of angles, man. Top scorer with the Ethel. I love it.
I wonder if that's like a reinforcement march for the Sky Altar, or if that's actually an open field march.
It looks like a reinforcer the way it's dancing around.
Trying to get into that Sky Altar, but yes, it does look like finally 16OT will be able to get back their home Sky Altar. But when you lost the first arc and you're losing the occupation game, first arc has been captured. This is the true score now, that is reflected on the board here. 1730 for TCG9, and then we got 3.6k from 16OT. So this second arc, I feel like, is going to be huge for 16OT. They need to somehow contest and win it. But we saw that TCG9, they have the quality. They have the, they have the leadership to really contest those mid fights. What can 16OT do differently in this match to get back into it, Brian?
So I think if we just go back to that Sky Altar on the bottom side again, Plato, I think these next couple minutes are going to be really key. So in my, non-expert brain, I think the timing of the arc return is good for TCG9 because the marches that Sad faced originally and these marches here, they can die and come out for one more push. They can come out for one more push. That seems like very straightforward to me. And you've got Stafer here in this lane as well, who's a very experienced arc lead who might be calling the tempo here. And for me, if 16OT, these blue marches we're looking at now, they have to do something positive here. I think they have to play defense. I think 16OT has to play defense and not lose this Sky Altar. Like they pushed up to the Shrine of Life, but I don't think that's the play. I think it's good. I think we might see a really good push here by TCG9, brother. They're gonna wipe these guys. They're gonna wipe these guys, and they're gonna rage dump on the guys coming in next.
Perhaps it's because the marches that were there were already half health or low health, so they just want stat base. Although some of the marches that are now walking in are healthy, so
yeah. But I mean, those marches that were half health, like they can't come back to this lane and go mid. They're not gonna be able to do both. There's not enough time.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough hold for 16OT in this outer lane. It does look like, though, in response, they're going to be trying to trade this Desert Altar, although this Attila has been holding for quite some time. The sad face is coming out from 16OT. That might have actually been the rally. And the reason why swarming down the rally, even though if it's anti-swarm rally, is really good in Ark of Osiris is because usually the great teams, they hide the garrison captain if they were to take the structure inside of that rally. So if you swarm down the rally, you essentially swarm down the future garrison captain in case the building flips as well. And it will be held by TCG9. So the building game, the mid game, has been going towards TCG9 thus far. And we have about 5 minutes until Arc spawns. And the last attack that we were talking about from TCG9 now starting to connect on the Sky Altar.
Yep, and you know, both teams going with the Archer rallies today. Pretty interesting. Both teams really leaning on these QSH Shapur rallies. And, you know, looks, you know, pretty good timing. Field's getting here as the rally gets here. It's a full rally. And let's see what 16OT does here. It looks like they are going to just try to swarm this thing down. You know, you're not really afraid of the anti-swarm on these Archer rallies. The QSH is going to nuke down some of these marches, though. So let's see what happens here. 16OT, they're cutting it close here. The David Hector Garrison at half health already, getting the full swarm. This rally's still up and full. Look at how full this rally still is. I don't think these blue marches here have really accomplished much at all at this building. They haven't killed the swarmers. They haven't killed the rallies. I mean, at that point,
oh my
it looks like it's going to be an attack that works.
It is so close. The last garrison march able to get in there. They're filling it one by one. But look at that. The sad faces coming out from 16OT. And that is going to be a successful take by TCG9. An absolutely huge take. With 3 minutes 40 seconds left until Arc spawns. A couple marches now from 16OT starting to rotate over. Now you kind of have to play this balancing game of, do we just try to recapture the Sky Altar, or do we just give it up for now, give it mid? I don't think with this point differential right now you could give up Sky Altar capture. And look at the timing as well. Altar of Anubis is going to be respawning pretty much the exact same time mid is respawning as well. So we have a couple marches that are still relatively healthy from the Sky Altar attack, now rotating down to the Altar of Anubis. And the really low marches are starting to just sad face onto cities so that they could sad face a bit faster and rotate middle. It is going to be a very disruptive play by TCG9 on 16OT's tempo. And this has just been an absolute masterclass from them on this outer lane in the bottom side, Brian.
Yeah, masterclass is an operative word for it. And at this point, Plato, we're going to see exactly how expert TCG9 is. We're going to see if they've titrated this altar correctly, because we've got basically just two players. It's Stafer and somebody named Kazuha here. They've got about 7 or 8 marches. Some of them are at half health. Obviously, they think this is enough to take this monster, right? Because they could have brought more. The other marches decided to sad face and go mid. So they basically split the marches that took that structure, sent half to mid, sent half to the altar. They think they have enough for this altar. I assume they know what they're doing here because they've known what they've done in every aspect of this. But we'll see. We'll see just how masterclass this is. TCG9 feeling like not only are we going to get this Sky Altar, not only are we going to disrupt 16OT from getting to mid properly, but then we're also going to get a free monster on the bottom side by just having our marches wait there for about 3 minutes. You know, it's hard to argue with anything that TCG9 is doing right now.
And look how effective those double C's were as well. So I was just staring at a couple double C's, a couple Ethelflights circling around the Sky Altar, just being a nuisance. Just making sure that the Sky Altar was filled up. It will eventually be taken, but I feel like those extra 2 marches were able to, you know, delay these marches outside in this outer lane for maybe an extra 30 seconds, maybe an extra 45 seconds here. So just making sure that they generate as many points from the Sky Altar, making sure that they deny points from 16OT, and they also deny these marches that are out here from rotating over to middle. So that's going to be a couple marches that are not going to be middle. And somehow, some way, they also took the Desert Altar as middle is going to be taking place. The arc is going to be spawning in about 40 seconds here.
Yeah, and what I'm seeing mid is that 16OT does seem to have slightly more marches mid. It does look like TCG is trying to bite off a lot here, Plato. They're also pushing the Shrine of Life on the top side. So there's a lot of red marches that are not at this mid fight. 16OT, they might have a slight numbers advantage. And so is this going to be the opening that 16OT needs to get back in this match? Maybe take this second mid with the better numbers. It remains to be seen. It looks like this can be another very close mid fight, you know, as they both rub noses with each other once again. Well, this is crazy how close they get to each other without attacking. I don't even understand why this would ever happen.
Just making sure that all of your marches go in at the exact same time.
Yeah.
No march gets singled out or is able to give your opponents extra rage. Make sure everyone's rage dumping at the exact same time. And the arc has spawned. It does look like there are a couple arc carriers. Who's going to get the first tap? It is 16OT. 16OT were able to get the first tap, but it was instantly swarmed down by TCG9. The arc is in 16OT's side though, and this is going to be a very, very convincing win from 16OT in this mid fight. Sad face galore right now for TCG9, and 16OT got the mid fight. They got the mid win that they're looking for, but at what cost though, Brian?
It looks like it's not too bad. So, I mean, they lost both buildings on the top side. They did use 2 extra skill points for that mid. They used a dust up that TCG9 did not use. I don't think that's a big deal. I think skill points wise, I think 16OT is chilling. They're going to lose this bottom monster, and they've lost both of their buildings on that top side. So that's going to make them getting the top side monster, the monster that they should own. It's going to make it tough, Plato. This is the kind of moment where if you're 16OT, you kind of like want all your marches to have teleported to the top, because this top side has so much work to do to get this map back in their favor. And they are also on a clock. They are on a clock to get this done, because that monster is going to be spawning in about 70 seconds.
There is a master strategy from TCG9, a master strategy. They're trying to snipe and take away this arc from 16OT. They're like, all right, we lost that mid fight, but let us at least try to take it. Oh, there is a lot of marches here though. They're escorting this arc. The arc carrier is very low though, and there is going to be a couple marches. This is going to be a last hurrah, last attempt at this arc. Will they be successful? It does look like there are actually more 16OT marches than there are TCG9 marches that teleported in. And look at this, the marches from TCG9, they have to run through the murder ball and taking a ton of skill damage. And although they committed 6 points to this master strategy, will it be enough? The arc carrier was taken down though. It was at 50,000 units, so there wasn't too much health on there. And this is just gonna be crazy as more marches are now coming in from this top side, Brian.
It's a beautiful timing by TCG9 here. They not only warped in about the max 20 marches, but their entire bottoms or topside effort all flooded this area, walked here, and they're getting here just in time. They're getting here just as their teammates are wiping the blue ball. And so at this point, control of this area is in the hands of TCG9. If they want to return this arc, they probably have to go a long ways, although at the moment they hold the enemy's desert altar, so they could potentially return this thing pretty quickly. So far, Plato, this is one of the best ambushes I've ever seen. They gotta finish it off though. 16OT, they are professionals at this, and their cities are very close, right? Their cities are very close to this fight. So 16OT, I mean, as much as this looks very red dominant, 16OT, they probably just naturally smell some blood in the water where they're like, we have way better teleports than our enemies. We're going to punch them in the freaking face and not let this happen. Who does this, Plato? Who you betting on here?
I think TCG9 might be able to. Every single clutch altar pull has come down to TCG9. Sora being the person that did 2 of them, and now this double C is running away. This double C has a breakaway here. There is going to be an Achilles trying to at least tap it a little bit, try to slow it down by a little bit. But TCG9, when everything was going towards, you know, when this arc was pretty much in 16OT's control, 16OT, they just had to get a couple clutch taps, a couple taps to bring it closer to their side of the map. But look at this. The Arc is right next to TCG9's Desert Altar. It'll come down to this last tap. Will it be TCG9 or will it be 16OT to be able to contest it? Oh my goodness, it's going to be so close. 16OT, are you able to clutch up? No, it's TCG9 yet again, able to get the tap. Were they able to capture it? They were. TCG9 are able to steal the Arc from under 16OT's nose.
Huge play from TCG9. The master strategy, plus you own the enemy building, so you just drop the Arc in the enemy building as you're getting massively attacked by blue. TCG9 pretty much booking their spot in the semifinals with that huge 10 out of 10 play. The Arc ambush, the Arc steal, and returning it in your opponent's face.
An absolutely big play. Wow. That was absolutely insane. And the only reason that's possible is their Arc carriers. They were just focused on tapping that Arc to get that pull every single time. After that master strategies went off, 16OT, once that initial march sad faced, they weren't able to tap it once. It was TCG9 over and over and over again, able to bring it closer and closer to eventually steal that Arc, Brian.
Yeah, incredible play. And, you know, when they return that Arc also, like, let's just add a cherry on top of this thing. When they returned that Arc, they had at least one of the monsters to get an actual bonus, a 15% bonus onto that Arc. And, you know, the other monster got taken, Plato, and I'm actually not sure which team did it. I'm going to try to do the math here right now. So they got 4,025 from that. I think they had both monsters because they got 4,375 points from that Arc return. And that means they got both of those monsters. So through all that, they also took the monster on the top side. They had both bonuses active when they returned that Arc. And, you know, so that's basically like getting the fourth Arc of a game right there, pretty much. Just a absolute home run, the epitome of a home run in Osiris League right there from TCG9.
Yeah, that, for those that are wondering, monster is referring to the Anubis, the new altar of Anubis. Brian calls the Anubis the monster because it's altar of Anubis, and then the monster is also called Anubis. So it's kind of confusing when you call it, when you say Anubis. Are you referring to the altar or the actual entity? But yeah, this is an absolutely huge play from TCG9, and I think an underrated point of that play is the fact that they had control of the Desert Altar in the first place. The fact that they had so much control of the Shrine of Life, the Desert Altar, and perhaps, you know, they were like, okay, we're not going to send too many players, we're not going to send too many marches to middle. Try to contest middle a little bit. Let them 16OT take that, and then if they find a way, if they still have control of the structures, perhaps we can go for a steal, and that's exactly what they did. And at this point, I mean, they have been playing this close to perfection, Brian.
It's a really good game by TCG9. You know, one thing we maybe could have criticized in a moment was like, okay, they lost the second mid fight. Like, it looked like a pretty fair mid fight to me, and they did lose that thing like convincingly. But, you know, they reacted to it so great. Not only did they master strategy, but the marches that walked to that ambush, you know, they didn't have any opposition, Plato, because the marches that beat them mid were at half health escorting the Arc, right? So it was like just very good for them to, it was almost nice that they got wiped so fast, because that allowed them to sad face quickly, come back out, and then be there in time for the ambush. So it was like they had an excellent reaction to their first moment of adversity by, you know, playing that ambush as well as they did.
Yeah, it was perhaps that was part of the strategy. Let's sad face so quick.
I wonder about it. It can't be though, right? Like, there's no way.
Sad face like so quick so that we could contest the Arc with the master strategies and then bring the reinforcements that sad faced to the Desert Altar. and take it over. I will say though, the close teleport space from 16OT almost brought them. If they're just able to get a couple taps there, they might have been able to secure that arc. It was a risky play, but it was the macro decision of, using that master strategy, putting marches up there to take the Desert Altar in the first place, and then bringing marches to reinforce, and then the micro of their players to make sure that they just got the tap over and over again that, resulted in that play. And I'm thankful that they're able to do that, because now for the highlight of this match, I think it's pretty obvious as to what it is. As the arc is going to be spawning yet again in 3 minutes, so there is going to be round 3 of the arc shenanigans here. And it does look like both teams here are going to be full sending, at least TCG9 thus far.
Yeah, and I think both teams would like to win this third arc fight. I mean, the match is mostly a foregone conclusion at this point. It looks like TCG9 is going to advance here. But, these are two kingdoms that are likely to face each other in KVK at some point. And, like we saw in the second arc fight, I mean, there's a lot of skill in open field in Rise of Kingdoms. Team skill, like when do you engage? Plato, you noted there that they wanted everyone to engage at the same exact second, and that's why they got so close to each other without attacking. So I think both teams can still prove a point with this third mid fight, especially after 16OT did just win that second mid straight up. I'm going to be curious to see how the teams play this third mid. It looks to me like 16OT is just going all in on this third mid. They're sending the kitchen sink to this one. And TCG9 doesn't have to do the same, but it actually looks like they are. So we're going to get probably the biggest mid fight of the game right here for the third one. And yeah, it might not decide the match, but I think there's some, not ego, but just some wanting to be better than the other guy involved in this one.
A bit of pride.
Yeah, a bit of pride. Yeah.
To make sure that, even though we might have lost the game, but if we go straight up, if we play like it's season 1 of Osiris League, just everyone goes to mid when the arc spawns. No nuance, just every single march go there. We can still win that murder ball fight. Is that going to be the case for 16OT, or will TCG9 show their class yet again? This is going to be really interesting. Yeah, it's just going to be a full send from both teams here, Brian. And it's going to be the good old ARAM sending everybody mid. TCG9.
I mean, we've got the bosses from League of Legends, so, we might as well now run the ARAM in the mid as well. You got to just do the whole thing. It's a very successful game. Let's emulate it in here in Rise of Kingdoms.
As we see Desert Storm used to try to whittle down the murder ball of TCG9 in response. The TCG9 murder ball also gets whittled down by 16OT.
Yeah, big value on that Desert Storm hitting the red team here. They're just getting the full chunks on their entire ball. So, but neither team really trying to find interesting angles for these fights at all, Plato, are they? They're just kind of just standing right next to each other and then engaging.
They're trying to ball up as tight as possible, be one pixel, and then going in, and there you go. This is a double to the death. We see the full skill bar from both of these teams. Double to the death, double Desert Storm. It is a skill mirror from both these teams.
Yeah,
and
pretty interesting. And one thing, I see that blue really swung into red here. I didn't see as much swinging into red. It looks to me like blue really got into the middle of that red ball, and I think that's almost more amateurish play than red team, who just was so tight and stayed where they started. And it does look like red is winning this fight.
Yeah, a lot of discipline, as you said, that swing, it really does. I don't know if it was the swing or if it was just a difference in account strength, but that was an absolute dominant win from TCG, just as it has been a dominant win for them in this arc game. Although I will say, the gathering score a little bit. I mean, we could say 16OT gathered a little bit better, but everything else going TCG's way. And man, they are going to be a force to be reckoned with in this group, in this Horus semifinals bound here. From what you've seen from TCG9, how far do you think they could go in this in Horus in general and Arc of Osiris in general, and the quality of their team? Like, where would you rank them in terms of the teams you've seen so far?
They're the best team I've seen so far. In this year's Osiris League, they are definitely the best team I've seen so far. Really good teamwork, super good fighting. Like that mid fight right there was like really high-end fighting. And you know, they're in a realm with 93T, which we rate 93T as a better team than 16OT, right? Probably. But TCG won this match cleanly. So they feel to me like a genuine test for 93T as we go forward in this thing. So, yeah. You know what I wonder, Plato, is I wonder, like, did the people who are at the high end of Osiris League know that this was coming from TCG9? Like, I assume they've practiced enough that some teams out there know how strong they are. So, like, I guess some people knew, but I honestly didn't see this coming, where, like, they just have, like, major skill.
Yeah, it's not only the count strength, but we saw the skill, we saw the micro from the arc pickups themselves. We saw that, you know, they fill structures really well, especially from the Sky Altar attack and then being able to hold the Sky Altar. Even the Desert Altar in the beginning, able to just fill that BQ super quick. The signs are there of a very solid team in TCG9, and they look deadly in this Horus realm. And there is going to be one last objective that 16OT can, you know, try to snipe here. It is going to be the 2 Anubis here. This Anubis is going to be granting 2 extra energy points as well as skill cooldown reduction. But yeah, look at this. The Anubis going to be attacked by 16OT. There are still a couple, as we've seen throughout this match, TCG9 being omnipresent. There's always a march wherever 16OT is.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I think this last buff on these Arbiters of Anubis is pretty relevant here, Plato, because it does give you 2 extra skill points immediately. And TCG9 has actually only used Nomark once in this match. And, you know, obviously they have used a lot of skill points. They used that master strategy that absolutely depleted their bar. They returned to that second arc very quickly. And because they have the lead, they're also not generating points as quickly as 16OT. So, you know, they may or may not have enough points to cast a second Nomark in this match unless they win one of these monsters. So, you know, that just sort of shows, like, these Altars of Anubis, they just add like a real interesting element to the end of this match, where sometimes teams won't have cast that second Nomark. If they can get it off, that's a very significant points boost, especially in a match that happens to be super close. But I think that it might have been 16OT that took both of them, actually. Unless did they take the bottom side one? I'm sorry, I was looking around.
They took the bottom side one. Top side one is respawning now.
Or the top side one is respawning now, yeah. So, you know, if TCG9 needs those 2 points, which we don't know for sure that they'll need it, but if they do, they have to take this top side altar to get it. And they do have a pretty... Yeah, I've got another... You know, we have so many good highlights here. We had the highlights of the first fight at this top side monster. And I think we're going to get a pretty good fight here at the last one, too.
Look at the Desert Storm used on the top side. Dust Up used. This is a mid-fight for 16OT. They know it's over, but still having some fun, just wanting to make sure that, hey, at least you could take this Anubis here. And this Anubis will, again, give 2 extra energy points. Each skill's cooldown is reduced by 600 seconds. So, I mean, TCG9, though, they have a big murder ball now coming up. And it does look like
16OT doesn't want the smoke, man. They do not want the smoke. I think they want to like nuke down this monster like really quick before Red gets here. But
It's getting pretty low. It's getting pretty low. It's half health now, but now TCG9 coming from the bottom side, coming from the south. And it'll be really interesting if they decide to nuke down the Anubis with them and sing Kumbaya, or if they're going to try to sad face and marches first. There is 9%, 1% who was able to take it. It was actually 16 OT that were able to take that from TCG9. So that nuke from 16 OT, it was risky, but they were able to take it at the end. But will it matter? No, it will not, because look at the point differential. The arc has been escorted, so they finally were able to get those final arc points. They were actually waiting, Brian. They're waiting for the altars to just make sure that they got as many points as possible. They were not able to secure any of the altars, so they just captured the arc right after the altar of Anubis was taken by 16 OT. But overall, a 15k point differential is absolutely huge, especially when you consider the class of 16 OT.
Yeah, you know, and we really do see the class of 16 OT here. This was the opposite of a pushover that TCG beat here today. I mean, they won the second mid, right? And then at the end here, they win both altars. They make the right read on that top altar, where not only do they use the Desert Storm, which was a great cast, but then they nuke down the altar to get it. So, you know, 16 OT's made like a bunch of good plays in this match, and that just speaks to how well TCG9 played in order to beat them by, like you said, a 15k plus point differential.
Look at all of these Desert Storms.
And so many skills. Like, look at how many skills 16 OT is getting off in this match with their use of stocking up. They've used stocking up so well that they're just dumping so many skill points onto the board. So it just shows how good 16 OT actually is.
16 OT, their goal now is to make sure that the map, the final screenshot, whoops, I did not mean to click that. The final screenshot is even here. The last structure that they need to recapture is this Sky Altar. Just making sure that, hey, at least we lost with dignity. And this has been an absolute masterclass from TCG9. For anyone at home, what's one thing that they could take from this game from TCG9?
Oh, you're not going to like my answer, Plato. My answer is get the absolute best players in the game and then just give them some reps working together, because this is a brand new team. Like, TCG9 is a pretty brand new team. They've got some players like Q is Chaos, the Kingdom leader, who has undoubtedly been part of their ARC team for years, but they have brought in so many new players. There are so many X960 players, but also players from other kingdoms like Stafer, who have come in here, and Makote as well. You know, just have like the absolute beasts of the game on your team, and yeah, I guess it doesn't take that long to become a truly elite team.
Yeah, I'm sure they practiced a lot as well, though. I'm sure there was a lot of reps put in, because we've seen super teams have super good accounts but then not able to perform. There has been...
and I don't mean accounts. I mean player skill. I don't mean the accounts.
Skill.
I mean, when I say beasts, I mean player skill. Like, the player skill here is like super, super high from TCG9.
Yeah, that is absolutely true.
Like, it just has to be said, you know? It just has to be said.
10 seconds to go. TCG9 with the firm lead. And that is it. It is done. TCG9 are moving on to the semifinals of Osiris League. GG's to both teams. 13-16, 16 OT with 32.4k points, but 23-59 and TCG9 with 46.8. Able to win all of the arcs, able to win the occupation score. 13-16 able to provision 1k more than them, but overall it was not enough. GG's to both teams. Brian, do you have any final notes of this game?
Before the match, we said that TCG9 is regarded as one of the strongest kingdoms in the game, but to really solidify your reputation, you also need to have success in the Osiris League. Today, TCG9 achieved that trademark victory with this win over 16 OT. They advanced to the semifinals, They win the Osiris League skin with the 3% training buff, and they really send out a warning to this entire remaining Osiris League roster that they mean business and they can beat anybody.
And that is it for us. Be sure to subscribe to this channel, the official Rise of Kingdoms channel, for more casts. We have 2 more games that we are casting at 15 UTC, and it will actually be Brian and Chiskel, and then I'll be solo casting another game as well. So be sure to subscribe, and our channels are also in the description if you want to check that out as well. And let's catch you guys next time. Peace.